It's time for a little bit of We Got Your Mail. Let me see if I can do this right. It might be the first time I actually do this correctly on the show. For We Got Your Mail. Guys, this is the part of the show where we take all your questions, your comments, concerns over the week, and we discuss them right here. We've been pushing you for more questions with, something with a question mark at the end of it. Because, for the most part, you guys are just talking at us. You're like, Keanu Reeves sucks, or I love Keanu Reeves. I was like, okay, that's not really much for us to talk about there.
We'll add it to the tally.
We just add it, yeah. But when you say Keanu Reeves is awesome, but I heard that he, just give us something juicy and there's something to nibble on, and we'll talk about it. This is the part where we'll talk about it.
Just gonna make up some hot Keanu Reeves gossip.
This whole show, just like on that Britney Spears thing, that whole podcast about.
We're trying to bring it back to the really toxic age of celebrity culture.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of our MO.
Paris Hilton just retired all that nastiness, so talking to the medias might pick that baton up. No, I'm not gonna do that.
Perez. I thought you said Paris Hilton.
Perez Hilton. That's what I meant to say, right? Sorry about that.
Like, she said a dog. I don't know. She's fine.
But let's run down these quick questions and let's talk about them. What's the first one?
All right. Our very own moderator, Joe Ryan, asked on YouTube, had some pretty solid WandaVision questions, asking, why would she lie to Vision, the man she loves and trusts? Why do the kids have the ability to age up on their own? The last episode was the 80s. Will the next episode be the 90s? What happens when they get to the 2020s? Is Vision real? Why was the neighbor acting so weird like an actor on a set?
I love the way the way it broke down. The last one was in the 80s. The next one be in the 90s. Is Vision real? That was the way. It was just the way you threw it in there. Was perfect.
Extreme of consciousness. I enjoy it.
It's like
no, but I think some very solid questions there. I loved the thing where it's just like, I saw a tweet, and I always feel bad when I'm like quoting tweets and I can't remember who said them, but it was just like, I can't wait for the 2020s episode where it's just like a vertical screen format and just like 30 seconds of like Vision throwing cheese slices like on Wanda's face like a TikTok. Yeah.
The last episode, the season finale will be a TikTok video. That'd be messed up. But I know, from what I can tell, the next one should be set in the 90s.
The season finale should be a remake of the 80s.
Oh, don't do that. No, we have what, 3 episodes left? We have episodes 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 4 episodes left. So I
have to think after the 90s we'll quit the decade jumping.
Oh no, I think it's gonna be after the 2000s. It's gonna be we're gonna stop, because I know for sure Wanda was like looking at the screen like a Modern Family Parks Rex moment in one of the trailers. So I think after the 2000s that'll be it. That maybe that Hex bubble will pop. By then
the last episode has to break it.
I'm thinking before that. I'm thinking the next one is 90s, then 2000s, and then the last 2 episodes will be people getting punched in the face. There hasn't even been a punch thrown yet, and this show has got people going crazy. This is a comic book.
I think the second Vision catches on, whether that's that he's like,
wait, you saying there's 2 Visions now?
His body, I think she brought his consciousness back to his body, so I don't know.
Wait, breaking news. Did you just say that there's 2 Visions when the second Vision gets consciousness?
No, I said the second that Vision figures out, but I think that's when it'll break down, because if Vision's not playing along, there's no reason for her to want that universe to still exist.
What was the other question? Why was the neighbor acting so weird like an actor on a set? Yeah, that's because when you're in that hex, that's the role. That's what you're being forced to play. Everybody's in pretty much like the movie Get Out. Everybody's in the sunken place right now. They're all under mind control, and there was an episode that showed you that Vision. Spoilers alert. So as a Vision was able to break people from the spell and release them temporarily, and you could tell, like, he's like, what the heck's going on? Why am I acting like it's 1945 or 1960 or something like that? Like, I need to call my wife. I need to get out of here. And then he got, put back under the spell. So everybody in that town is being forced to act like that. It's Wanda's vision. It's her perspective. It's what she wants.
I will say Catherine Hahn's character is acting weird in a different way than everybody else, which leads me to believe, and I think we're seeing a lot of theories that she's
probably more involved than people. Either she's possessed or she's just afraid for her life. There's so many working theories that she keeps mentioning a husband that nobody's seen. He
I
might
just
be
feel
the
like
big bad.
she's such a good character, like such a good actress and such a fun character. It's
Yeah.
like you got to do more with her. You don't
Yeah.
get Catherine Hahn to not kind of knock something out of the park.
She needs her like if they ever do that spinoff show with Agent Wu and Darcy, Catherine Hahn needs to be a part of that. She needs to just be there to just drive in the van or something like that. Be awesome. But yeah, I would love
It looks like the kids aging up is one of those, like, I don't know. I think there's gonna be not plot holes, but things we never get like a full explanation on. And I do think like the kids aging up is gonna be one of those.
You want to hear the weirdest theory I've heard? Not to be take too much time on the first one, but one of the weirdest theories that I heard.
There were like 8 questions. We should have counted this as the first like six
questions, right? But one of the, because you know the rules of how Wanda is able, she's not able to create anything from thin air. She has to take something that already exists and then she can change it inside the hex. Mm-hmm. People are wondering if her kids came from that guy who turned into the beekeeper when she said no in reverse time for, or either A, she took some kids and made kids for herself, or B, she killed that guy and turned them into her kids. I mean,
I think the kids are her kids. I think they established that. That like,
how did she get impregnated?
Well, listen, we can have this talk, but I don't know. I think YouTube might demonetize us if.
But I mean, that's the point. I mean, Vision can't do it. So the theory is she deleted that guy, used whatever was necessary, and turned it into a fertilized egg. That's the theory. I'm just saying. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to buy it. You just have to accept it. All right. Let's put money on it after the show. We'll see who's right.
And I'll explain where babies come from. Also on the WandaVision topic, Muhest on YouTube asking some more very valid WandaVision questions, saying, but why use the form of sitcoms and why are they divided into time decades?
Oh, it's the same question.
Well, but no, I think that's a solid. And again, I think that is one of those. It's stylistically cool, and we'll probably never get like a hard like. And here's why she did. I think
my theory is that
it makes sense of like sitcoms represent that like perfect happy family and everything's resolved in 30 minutes, and like emotionally that makes sense. So that's what she wanted. And then I think stylistically, jumping decades is just more interesting than having a show set in the 50s the whole time. Well,
I mean, the short answer is it was a cool new idea that's never been tried before. But I think to break down what's going on in the show, the working theory right now is that that's what she grew up with in her country. That, you know, that's the American TV that she was getting when she was growing up, reruns of I Loves of Lucy and all that stuff. So that's her safe space. That's
sort of emotionally like all the people who are like, oh, I learned English from these sitcoms,
watching these shows and things like that. And moving up. And I wish she would, but when it got to the 80s, I just wish she would have watched more MacGyver and A-Team, because that episode had so much potential, but we didn't get that. We got Full House. What was that? The 80s version of it was like Full House and Family Ties or something. It was like it's always a mix of like
there was like an edge of Step by Step in there.
Yeah. But that's the theory right now, that's why she chose that, because she's just trying to feel safe and go back to a time where she was really happy. So that's probably what she was watching as a child before all this stuff started happening to her, as those old reruns in her country.
And like I said, I do think that is like the purest concept of the family. Like it really established the idea
the
of
nuclear
like,
family,
the family unit. Like it solidified it so much in sort of our consciousness. It makes sense.
Yep.
Joe Ryan, once again, thanks, Joe, asks, why aren't we talking about Coming to America 2 or The Matrix 4? Because we can't count that high, Joe. Be nice. That's not why.
I'm like, well, she's called me out. I'm like, if I didn't, I need more fingers. I can't count past 10. But I am purposely not trying to watch. I haven't even seen the new trailer that came out of Coming to America 2. I'm not I want to go in as fresh as possible. I don't want to see any more trailers. So, I mean, if something huge happens or something breaks, of course I'll cover it.
You don't want to
I just don't. I want to watch it. I want to sit down and just try to enjoy it. That's one of the reasons why I don't. But because nothing. The other answer is nothing really has happened besides them releasing these trailers. I heard that the trailer was way better than the first trailer, but I'm still hoping that this movie is going to be good with or without a good trailer. I'm going to give it a chance, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'm just not trying to spoil myself. So unless like an anvil, made by Acme, fell on the Wile E. Coyote during the filming of the movie, or something breaking like that happens, then I'm not. That's why you don't hear me talking about Coming to America too much. Matrix 4. The reason why I'm not talking about that much is because Amy hasn't even seen Matrix 1. What we gonna talk about?
I can run down all the things I know. I feel like I have a pretty good red pill, blue pill.
Yeah. Who ate it though?
Shoot a gun and the guy goes backwards, and I'm gonna watch it.
That's promises. But that's
I'll watch it. I'll watch it once you edit my other reactions, Chris.
Ooh, shots fired. Okay, touche. I like that. Moving on.
I don't want to overwhelm you, And
what's
April B? Oh, I hate this question very much. April B. Speaking of things I don't want to explain today, I never got to see Two Girls One Cup before it was taken off YouTube, so I'm completely lost with it. What is it?
What is it?
Well, when two girls
love a cup so much.
Very much.
If anybody in the live chat wants to explain what it is, don't.
I managed to get, because that was like late elementary, early middle school for me, I feel like.
Oh roughly. My God. I just remember something. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm totally.
I managed to avoid it, and I was so grateful. No one ever did the hey, watch this.
You want to know what the spirit of Two Girls One Cup is? Go to YouTube. Go to YouTube.
I misunderstood the question.
And type in Two Girls One Cup, T3 Medias. You'll see my reaction to it. I think there's a reaction to it on this channel. It's not on there. I didn't put it on the screen, but Sean tricked me into watching it.
Wow.
And recorded my reaction. So that'll give you an idea. So what's the next question?
All in the game. Also, April, Google it. You can Google
you will find. You just wanted us to talk about it.
All in the game. I know. I love this person who's like, I never got to see it, and I'm new here on the
Can
internet.
you describe it in full details and act it out? No.
All in the game, talking WandaVision a bit more, said the iconic 90s family sitcom they're likely to reference would be a mix of Roseanne and Full House, cameo opportunity for Liz Olsen's sisters. And yes, it's one and done limited series with Wanda's story progressing in the movies, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Evan Peters as a sword agent makes no sense due to the logic Amy laid out. Thank you. It's either a true multiverse or mutants opening, or it's Evan as Mephisto due to his American Horror Story background. Wish the MCU would get the pronunciation right. Lay-gos, not Lah-gos. I learned something today. Had the same minor complaint when I watched Civil War, as I lived there for a while. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
All in the game. How about you, Lego my ego? He threw a shot at me talking about my theory about Evan Peters being a secret sword agent. That's my theory. Okay, the alarm was going off as the cameo was happening. My theory is that that is a sword agent who they found a guy that could pass enough for a brother that's just been recast, because they were talking about how things that get put into the hex change. But if we were to go into the hex wearing things that already fit the narrative or what's going on, that 80s style, then maybe we won't change that much. I think Sword is testing that theory out with Evan Peters. If he's not the big bad and all these other things that these think he is, that's my guess. I think he's an undercover sword agent, because imagine what would happen to him if he is, and then later Wanda finds out that he's lying to her.
That's not a valid reason, though.
I just want to see him get crushed.
It'd be cool and I want it is not a valid reason to have plot holes, but okay. Roseanne's a good pull. I feel like, because I know
you think they're gonna go with Roseanne for the 90s?
Well, I don't know, because I feel like 90s and 80s sitcoms have, because like the 80s one had an edge of Full House to it already.
I'm thinking Martin.
Okay. Yeah.
And just have Wanda be like, "What's up? What's up, Wanda?
Yeah, I got real tasteless real fast.
Wanda."
No, but I do feel like there's so much bleed over between like 80s and 90s family sitcoms. And then I know we talked Friends, but like I think All in the Game brings kind of references. It's a good point of like it has to be that iconic family sitcom.
I mean, yeah, because a lot of those shows did bleed over from the 80s to the 90s and from the 90s to the 2000s. Yeah. But like I'm landing on Friends because I know that started in the 90s but
it's not a family sitcom at all.
I mean, just have have a bunch of neighbors coming in and just being there for all damn day. I mean, Friends. I mean, you're right.
I mean, characters end up like Monica and Chandler end up together. Spoilers, but
yeah, exactly. It's season 11 of Friends with WandaVision.
They end up together in season. I might actually know this. We don't have to. No, but I do feel like in the 90s you really saw the emergence of the friend sitcom, like whether it was Friends or stuff in that vein,
right?
Like Sex and the City and that kind of stuff, and then the family sitcoms,
the rise of the cable TV shows started.
But there's not a ton that feels like not in the family 90s. Sitcom that doesn't feel like a bleed over from the 80s. So I'm just genuinely curious.
I know it started in the 80s, but it ended in the 90s. The Simpsons, Married with Children. They might go
Married with Children I guess like
they might go there because the kids are there now.
That was part of it too, though. They got less idealized. Mm-hmm. Like you're talking things like Friends and things like Married with Children and things that like took a little more of an edge when they were looking at it.
Right.
I think it creates an interesting sort of question that I'm sure someone figured out, but I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Yep. What's the next one?
Did we ask this question or did he just volunteer this?
This is a volunteered rundown. We have Evan the Cinema Guy. Is that what we're talking about?
Evan the Cinema Guy just wanted to share the following.
This is his
my top 10 celebrity crushes: Emma Stone, Lucy Hale, Gina Carano, Jamie Alexander, Margot Robbie, Haley Steinfeld, Anne Hathaway, Mila Kunis, Olivia Wilde, Elizabeth Banks.
Let me.
I don't want to know what that noise at the end was.
Let me. Yeah, I think there was another video where I think I gave a rundown of like my hall passes, and that's what he.
I was a little.
You just thought that I don't know. Yo, guys,
emailed that to you.
From this point on, everybody in the live chat, don't forget to hit the like button as well. But yeah, just send us your top 10 whatever celebrity crushes, the times that you got away with crimes and things like that. Top 10 whatever. I don't care what it is. Just for no reason at all, just send us your top 10. Here are my top 10 butterflies that I've collected. All right, I don't care what it is. I want to read those things. I love it. But the Cinema Guy, even though I agree with every choice that you have on the list, no Halle Berry? Come on, man. Halle Berry's on everybody's list. But Olivia Wilde, I don't think she gets listed enough. I could break down that list for the rest of the show, but I'm not. So
it's a solid.
It is a great list. Let me just think about that.
I think it's pretty much very few people would agree with you. Maybe Gina Carano just for the.
I would keep Gina Carano on the list just so because I know that she would cradle me in those arms. I would feel safe. I'm like, oh. Talk to me about the Mandalorian.
Would you feel safer around Gina Carano?
Hey. Anybody breaks in the house, I'd wake up in the middle of the night like, go check. See, I'm not going. I would feel. That's what I mean by safe. She would, she would protect me. She would save my life. Would I feel safe? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, never mind. No, I'm not gonna ask. Let's move on because
we can go down this path.
Because I can turn this into a PG-13 to R real quick if I don't control myself. Good list. Amy's not gonna like this graphic.
We have a new segment. Amy asks. Amy has questions. Asking questions. Answer me. Amy asks, do we like it? Are we keeping it? Please tell me you can save that soundbite.
Well,
no, it's fine. That's like the best picture I've ever taken. Amy asks, if you could see any... It is. If you could see any two living artists do a Super Bowl halftime show together, a la J-Lo and Shakira last year, who would you want to see? Oliver Barnes says Chris Brown and Britney Spears would kill it.
I think that was a joke.
Yeah.
And the Keek show says hologram Tupac and Biggie. But wasn't the question living? People living?
The holograms are living. Also, shout out to the Keek show. Also very fun, like geek chat. And I'll be on there on Friday with Eric. So
on the Keek show
Day special. T. Smith says Jack Harlow and Lil Wayne, and Will Jenkins says Britney Spears and Dua Lipa would be fire emoji.
Now I had to think about it, but that
Britney
last
Spears
one,
and Dua Lipa would be fun. Actually.
That would actually be an interesting one.
That would be really good. Like if it was a Britney Spears halftime show, and then like halfway through, because that's one thing, it would make more sense. The show was missing for me. I kept going like, okay, when is someone else gonna like?
Me and Joyce said the same thing. I think that because Miley Cyrus did it, she had like 2 guests, and but he didn't. The Weeknd was like, I got it.
It was seriously missing a little like also.
I just read
Britney Spears and Janet Jackson, and it's just the screw Justin Timberlake.
She's already exactly, and pull out a cardboard picture of Justin and punch it, but.
No, Britney Spears and Dua Lipa would be fun though. I think that would be a fun like like most people like know and like Britney to some degree, and then Dua Lipa's a fun modern, but like she's a good performer. It would
most likely be how do you say her name? Dua Lipa. I'm gonna butcher it. Not Britney. What's her name?
Dua Lipa.
Dua Lipa. I'm always messing up.
Dua Lipa.
It would probably be her show, and then Britney would probably be the guest in that. But I mean, it's just like on level.
I'm gonna call it. I think with this documentary and everything, I think we are on the edge of like the Britney songs. You
think it would be more like a Super Bowl halftime show, like a Madonna featuring Nicki Minaj kind of a thing? Like
I think it'll be. I think we're on the edge of the Britney songs, and I would not be surprised if we had her doing a halftime show in the next couple of years.
We'll see.
Because they do those kind of throwbacky ones every once in a while. Of like, oh, she's gonna do the classics. She's gonna do a couple new ones.
Yeah.
I feel like J-Lo and Shakira. There were so many numbers where it was like, oh. I remember this from like the middle school dance. Amazing. So
that was bootylicious. Anyway,
that was a great halftime show, man.
What's the next one?
Mr. Muhest. We were discussing who would cast in the Shining remake. And I feel like he thought we were discussing an actual Shining remake because he said, it does not matter. The only reason to make a remake or sequel of The Shining is the greed of some producer or studio that does not have even a drop of respect for the medium as an art form. There's a giant difference between I'm going to found this product because I think it is good and interesting and I think it will generate a profit. It is a movie that being almost 4 decades old, it still looks incredible because those who made it put everything they had to make a better movie than the movie they were remaking. Today, the idea of making a better version of a movie is not the focus of the remake. The focus is people know it. That's why they're going to consume it.
And
they're not doing a Shining remake, like just to be clear.
Yeah, I mean, he got really passionate, but I think I
understand where you're coming from. Like, I understand the frustration of like the remakes and sequels of things that don't need it. Mm-hmm. The question I posed, because my boyfriend and I were chatting, and I was like, we were talking about.
You can be honest. It was a fight that Eric was losing.
Yeah, because I've been reading a fair amount of Stephen King lately, and when I read The Shining, because I really need something scary because the world's not enough. And when I read The Shining, I was really struck by like, oh, that's why the movie doesn't work for me, because in the book, you really understand why they think this could work. Mm. You understand like Jack is like a dude with some issues, to be sure, but like you understand why they're like, we're gonna get our lives back on track and save our marriage. And when I watched the movie, I was like, with it, the second Jack Nicholson came on screen, it's like, yeah, that guy could kill his family. Yeah, 100% that guy could kill his family. Yeah. And like, I think Shelley Duvall was really miscast as Wendy as well. So we were just chatting like, who would you cast in that? Who would work in that?
Yeah,
and that sort of spiraled.
But
out
he took it to the serious level, like as if this was already greenlit and happening tomorrow. And I think we got into a conversation about how producers they're just out in it for the money, but they should get a person to make it that's just for the back in the day it was all about the love of filmmaking and stuff. Like, no, it's always been about the money. I mean, does a person who writes a movie or a script want to get it made and they love their project and would love to see it come to life? Yeah, of course. I mean, look, Kevin Smith.
I mean, I understand feeling protective of like Stanley Kubrick's artistry, because he did put such insane like detail and effort into his films. Yeah.
But as far as
also they did a sequel, and they did it because there was a sequel to The Shining that Stephen King wrote. So
yeah, I mean, but movies get greenlit because producers feel like they can make a profit.
Yeah,
I mean that's just the truth. I mean, do we want this to be a perfect world where it's all about the love? Even if this movie fails, we're gonna give it 3 sequels because it's an art. Like, I mean, in a perfect world that'd be great, but it wouldn't make any sense financially. Hey, are you a capitalist or not? This is America. Joe Ryan says The Shining was remade in a mini series. It was pretty good. I didn't see the mini series. I didn't see it. But I think I heard about it. Sopranos can be 2000s. If they do the Sopranos on WandaVision, woke up this morning, got yourself a gun kind of a beginning. Oh my God. Oh, that would be awesome. I miss the Sopranos, man. That would be awesome. So funny. What's the next one?
JFS, the reviewer, asked on Twitter, which old TV show or movie do you want to see get remade? Well, which one do you wish won't get remade? The Shining. Screw that last
screw that guy. The Shining. Forget the art. It's all about the money. Shining's not profitable enough.
I want to piss on Kubrick's vision. What TV show or movie do I want to see get remade? I feel like my gut instinct is just like none of them, because I want new stories to be told. I'm
indifferent. I don't care if things get remade. It doesn't erase the original.
It doesn't take away but yeah, I'm trying to think of something
Ghostbusters,
I'm actually
everything.
Like, I would love.
Remake it all. Star Wars. No. It's too soon.
Fans would love that. No one's head would explode at all. What would I like to see?
Which old TV show or movie do you want to see get remade?
Like a total remake, or like a reboot,
or like do what we're doing currently is like bring the show back for another season, like with now. Okay, I'm gonna alter your question a little bit, JFS. Now a show that I would like to see come back, like Punky Brewster style, or the Connors from Roseanne and whatnot.
Yeah.
Family Matters. That's a show that they've all said they're willing to do it if they're all still together. They've done an interview recently. I watched. It was like an hour-long interview with the original cast. They all said that if the network approached them, that they would do it. And I think I got a feeling it's going to happen. But Family Matters, Steve Urkel, I think I would love to see that story continue. That's the one I would pick. Not a remake, but a continuation. But that's
yeah.
You still don't have any?
Yeah, I'm thinking
Rainbow Bright.
What?
Rainbow Bright.
It's funny because I haven't even gotten through, but I've been watching it, like working my way through it on Hulu a bit. So I guess that's why it's fresh on my mind. But I feel like something like King of the Hill just had like a tone and.
You mean like a live action version?
Voice that I would be really. No, like reboot the cartoon. I'd be really curious to see how they would kind of handle like the modern state of the world with those characters.
Which ones do I wish would not get remade? I heard that they're thinking about speaking about Sopranos. I heard they're thinking about doing like a prequel to the Sopranos. I don't know if that's necessary. But at the same time,
no. When you have a show that's so widely considered one of the best shows of all time, it is hard not to feel like just let it be.
Yeah.
Just let it.
Let it be. All right.
I don't know. I feel like I'm not a huge fan of it, but the Sex and the City reboot feels unnecessary, especially since they can't get the actress who plays Samantha back, who is by far the best character.
Yeah, I never watched one episode. Never watched the movies. I'm not the demographic. I watched them all.
No, and I was a little young for it, but what I have seen of it, it's just very much like, look, I get why this was impactful. I get why people loved it.
I just don't get why they made 2 movies.
What?
I just don't get why they made 2 movies.
That's the thing. The movies were so bad, and it was so of its time. I think it's one that it is just that and like I said, especially not having why can't I think of her name? Point being,
Sarah Jessica Parker.
And again, I don't know.
The Samantha lady.
Yes.
Reese Witherspoon.
This isn't helping me at all.
I want a remake of Kim Cattrall. I want a remake of The Freeway with Reese Witherspoon. That's only a few people in the world has seen that movie. Reese Witherspoon and Keith Sutherland. It was based on The Big Bad Wolf and Little Red Riding Hood. Rated R.
But yeah, there's very few things I want to see remade. There are things I wouldn't mind getting more of.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Last one for We Got Your Mail. Another Ask Amy.
Amy asks, I'm asking questions.
Oh, not Ask Amy. I said Ask Amy. This is Amy's show. Okay. This is her.
Ask Amy is when you write into the newspaper. I think that's the whole thing.
I never thought this would happen to me.
I asked in my son, I asked if WandaVision did a crossover episode, what Marvel character or team would be most entertaining to see in her sitcom universe? Ruben said, imagine if Bruce Banner showed up in the sitcom, for example. I think that'd be sick. Deadpool would suck because he'd break the fourth wall and just get thrown out. That's true. But it's always fun to have around. I'd say Spider-Man is a good pick too. He's probably innocent and well-meaning enough to be allowed in the world by Wanda. Nick Fury would be pretty crazy. I'd like to see the reaction to him showing up as he commands such a high degree of respect. As for the TV show characters, I'd say Daredevil would be the best pick, as him being blind would bring a new interesting dynamic to Westfield, and him being a lawyer, perhaps he could reason with Maximov. I'd love to hear more suggestions. That was such a thorough answer. Thank you, Ruben.
I mean, you even covered the one that I know will never happen, but I agree with the most, like the Daredevil thing. Everybody out of all the Marvel Netflix ones, Daredevil is the one who perfectly fits in the MCU. But Kevin Feige is never going to pull them up. Maybe he will. Maybe in the Multiverse of Madness. Maybe. But will he bring that Daredevil up? If anyone could, it could be the Daredevil. And maybe Punisher. I feel like those two would work in the MCU. But in WandaVision, I don't know. What would be the point of Rupert Murdoch? Is it Rupert Murdoch? Matt Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch.
Definitely not his name. I don't know what it
Matt
is.
Murdoch. What would be the point of Matt Murdoch? Rupert Murdoch here. No, what would be the point of old Roop to go to that bubble? I mean, does Wanda need a lawyer? He's a lawyer. What does Wanda need legal representation after all these crimes that she's committed? Probably. That's probably the angle.
I love the point that Deadpool would just break the fourth wall and get his ass thrown
immediately. I mean, the second
that's such a funny point.
It's like, why? Like, what's going on? Are we in the 90s? What's happening? It would piss Wanda off so much, but you know who would love it? You know which character would love watching that episode. I mean, in the show. Was her name Darcy? Is it Kat Dennings' character?
Yeah.
Would love it. She would probably fall in love with Deadpool because I would love to see their comedy bouncing off of each other. That would kill me. But he's right.
I guess I'd want to see. So let's
Magneto.
Let's operate off the idea that they would be in the sitcom universe, sort of in the same way.
It would have to be a character on a sitcom level.
Yeah, so they're not standing there going, what am I doing here? I think Thor could be really fun because I feel like the Thor movie actually had almost that sitcom energy of like, we gotta pass him off as a normal
ever since
guy.
Thor Ragnarok,
like
maybe. That's a good. I would pick, as far as sitcom level. I would pick. When I say that, I mean someone who hasn't been in any of the movies. I mean, one of the, like, from the Netflix TV shows, or somebody from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm maybe what's his name, Carlson from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show. Him. They could announce that he's still alive since he had his own show for all these 7 seasons. Maybe him. But they said that it's going to be a Luke Skywalker level cameo than the equivalent to the Mandalorian. So if you,
I don't assume they'll actually bring them in as like I wasn't thinking like cameo. I was just thinking like crossover episode. I'm sure whoever actually if there is a bigger cameo than the Evan Peters thing, I think it will be more in the like superhero side of things than the
I'm thinking a crossover with Agents of
sitcom.
S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm thinking that. Or maybe to promote the next show that's about to come over, maybe Falcon or Winter Soldier. Maybe one of them. But it's Hawkeye. It's probably going to be Hawkeye because they're working on his TV show. He had some of a little bit of a relationship with Wanda, named his son after her brother. So it's probably going to be Hawkeye. But is that Luke Skywalker level? Nah. What would be Luke Skywalker? I
always forget about Hawkeye. So
what would be Luke Skywalker level would be their comic book father, Magneto from the X-Men. Since they already brought Pietro in there, and bring Magneto, Michael Fassbender, Magneto. That would blow the internet up. I'm just saying. That's my prediction. Was that the last one? That was the last one for We Got Your Mail. Yeah. We ended it on an Amy Ask. We got to work on that jingle. Like I said, guys.
Amy Ask.
Oh no!
That was Panama.
I was like, that's so meta. What was I about to say? Is that goth? What was that? What was it? Black hole sun, won't you come and ask Amy a question?
Amy has some questions now.
Oh wow! Now we just Alanis Moore setting this up. Okay.
No, it's still Panama. It's always been Panama.
Oh, okay. I thought okay. Okay, I guess I'm not the audience, but if you guys
have really losing, I'm really bummed that we're going on Name That Tune next week. It's not going to go well, is it?
If you guys have a question and want to submit to the show, just put it in the box below. We'll talk about it on We Got Your Mail. We're encouraging more questions.
If you like what you saw, make sure to subscribe to the channel and please drop a like on this video. It really does help us. Also, don't forget you can turn on notifications so you don't miss a single review, react, why is that trending, or We Got Your Mail.